Fuck you mean? I'm swerving. Fresh like a pass of the plug, I'm back, I'm clean. I'm splurging. This dope, this smoke, this hammer with the coat, she fiend. I serve them. Quarter body in a booth, I kill, not rappers eat.
I ain't take that, bro.
Yes, you did. It's in your hand. It's 1 year after leaving rehab, and after several mandated therapy sessions, a 26-year-old woman named Cindy will start to gain bits and pieces of her memory from a tragic night. Flashes of a man named Ryan she once used drugs with slumped on the kitchen floor, needle in his arm inside of an abandoned home. That night ended with Cindy herself in cuffs with the charge for manslaughter, but later dropped not having enough evidence to convict her for the crime. So it was seen as an accidental OD. When asked if they were using the same drug, why didn't it affect her the same? She explained she hadn't used that night, accusing the now deceased Ryan of assaulting and robbing her before she could use them herself. Drugs she had bought just 30 minutes before Ryan showed up. It was a bittersweet ending, having the man who beat and robbed you ultimately save you from your own demise. A lot of rumors surrounded the case, calling Cindy manipulative, sneaky, saying the relationship was way more than what Cindy had let on. But as suspicious as it all was, there was nothing concrete to back it all up. So with help from a voucher, she landed a place not far from where she grew up, but the environment being totally different. While going through the whole process, her father had passed away, devastating her even more not being able to attend the funeral. But he did leave her his old beat up white box Chevy and a bank account with over $5K. Her sponsor took Cindy by her father's house, where other family members now live, to pick up the car, giving her a tight hug and kiss before they went their separate ways. She stood in front of the house for a brief minute, wanting to walk in, but remembering just how much family had her back, believing she was guilty. Already the designated black sheep, it wasn't hard to deem her the bad guy, but her dad was always supportive, no matter how bad off Cindy became. Now today, Cindy, with her roller suitcase in hand, it's just before dark as she walks in the halls of her new apartment complex. Feeling a little eerie, she sped up towards the door, jamming the key in like an old 90s horror film. Having no luck after several times twisting the key, she reaches for a document inside her bag, double checking the numbers, making sure everything matched, and she noticed her mistake. Reading out her correct address, which is apartment D, while standing in front of apartment B. Feeling relieved and embarrassed, she tries power walking toward the stairs, when the door she just tried to open swings open itself. With the pistol pointed into the hallway, Cindy pleaded with the stranger, saying she was new here and had the wrong door. It was a young guy about her age. He peeked around the corner, relaxing himself, holstering his weapon, pleading with her also, hoping he didn't ruin her first impressions. Holding his hand out, he introduced himself as Danny. She does the same while asking him does he think she should get some protection. And he said it depends, explaining that he's a retired vet, honorably discharged for a leg injury, so his mind was always on a swivel, no matter where he hung his hat. But considering this area sees a few unruly types every now and then, it would be her best bet. But her new apartment set directly on the borderline of the south side of the city and the north side of her city, with the north being more middle class and a suburban, and of course the south being poverty stricken, crime infested, so the two sides will bump heads when the opportunity arises. Cindy, not too big on spilling all her beans the first time meeting someone, kept her answers brief. He then tells her if she needed anything, he's always home. She agrees, feeling a little bit more comfortable now, almost as if she had this unofficial bodyguard close by her new home. Now finally she makes it into the apartment, and upon getting through her door, she hears the iPhone ding notification. It's her sponsor, reminding her to check in when she made it home. Texting back a brief "here" and a good night after, she makes her way into her bedroom. With a single desk lamp in the corner of the room, a pallet on the floor, and a box full of clothes gifted to her from her sponsor. She took a glance around the room and really understood just how much of a fresh start this was. A real do-over from scratch. She turned the movie on her phone, double-checked the door and the windows before trying to get what little sleep that she could. It's a week later. She's waking up late this morning, rushing out the door, having a job interview for a warehouse clerk position. On her way out, she runs into Danny, looking entirely different than the week before. Worn out, tired, but she knew that look. Danny was high. Knowing this, she tried cutting the convo short, and in his clouded state, he comes on to Cindy, holding out a bag of asking her to party with him. She pushed past him, resisting the urge, and the urge was strong. She arrived just in time, wondering who was in charge. She finally found someone who led her into an office for an interview. After just a few moments of scanning her resume, he denied her on the spot, stating he needed people with a little bit more work history. Cindy, who's only worked for Wendy's back in high school, begged for a chance, saying she'll do any job he needed done. Seeing a change in his mood, he asked her to close the door. She did so, and this old pervert of a man offered her a well-paying position with a condition. Cindy knew where he was going with this, so she gathered her things to walk out. But he then said, "Where you gonna go? Who's gonna hire some junkie whore fresh out of rehab?" Wondering how he would even know this info, he answered the question before she could ask. He knows her face from the news and proceeded to make Cindy feel helpless. Cindy blood boiled under that straight face expression, and he agreed to his offer. Completing her condition, she asked, "When did she start?" "Whenever you want, magic mouth." If she didn't feel low and degraded enough, a new pet name was pushing her over. Now inside the bathroom connected to his office, all she could think about was that bag of Danny offered an hour ago, kicking herself for even craving the feeling of that release. She thought about Ryan, the dead guy who beat her that night, her family turning their backs, her dad leaving her in the middle of it all, and all in one moment she decided life would never be better than the one she's currently living. Convinced she had nothing left to lose, she invites her new boss back to her place that night. As forward as this seemed, Cindy had a plan to escape this place forever. But like anything, it comes with a cost she's willing to risk and pay. And he would be her first victim to start the process, she thought. Using something totally accidental to her advantage, she planned to recreate the crime scene that almost sent her to prison. Calling up an old friend named Justin, more like a brother, a guy she used to get her fixed through until he was ultimately jailed for a DV charge against his kid's mother. She wondered how he had got out so early, knowing how bad he beat this woman. But she was on a mission at this point, so his character really didn't matter. Justin ignores the call and texts, "Who this?" not knowing Cindy's new number. But he quickly called back upon finding out it was her. Excited and upbeat, Cindy didn't have to say much to set up a meet with him. They ended up meeting at the Southside Plaza, not too far from where she grew up. And just as excited as he was on the phone, he gave Cindy a big old hug. Cindy nonchalant, trying to play off her dead feelings inside, hoping to keep him happy enough to give her the information that she searched for. After sitting down to order food from McDonald's, she said she needed two things from him. She wanted half food and half Fent, if she could get it. 2, the address of his friend Tillo. Now Tillo, he was the guy who sold her the Bad Batch the day she was arrested for manslaughter. And she knew if it was a possibility that she go down, whether it be death or jail, she wanted to take him with her, but didn't express those feelings toward Justin, wanting to keep him out the loop. Justin, now feeling her weird vibe, he asked why. She then gave him a bull excuse about being old friends, saying he was her plug after he himself got locked up. Some time ago, Justin had brung Tillo with him to one of their meets to serve Cindy. So when Justin got locked up, Tillo was the next best thing far as trusting someone, since she looked at Justin as a brother. Reluctant, but Justin did as he was asked and sold both products. And he wrote down Tillo's address on a napkin and slid it across the table. Grabbing the napkin, she had everything she came for. She stood up to give Justin a hug, saying she was in a hurry. Justin confused, wanting to finish the conversation, but he let her go, asking her to please stay safe. Looking at the time, she didn't want to be late for her date. She stopped by the store to buy an air mattress and sped home in that old beat up Chevy. Not having much to move around with no furniture yet, she laced her room in candles, blew up her new air bed, and waited for her boss's arrival. Half hour later, she opens the door to a knock, but didn't expect the face behind it. It was her neighbor, Danny, looking even worse than before, trying to muscle his way inside. And after resisting a bit, a bulb went off inside her head. She has never seen him leave for work, and he never said he had a job, but he was always home and high. A guy like that has to be getting checks from somewhere. After letting him in, she directed him into the room. Before she followed suit, she checked her phone to see if her boss had contacted her, but no dice. So she canceled the date and proceeded to her new mission. Getting into the room, Danny was passed out. Cindy, seeing that the job was already halfway done, she whispered inside his ear, did he want another hit? With his slurred speech and drooling lips moving, she took that as a yes. Knowing what she was about to do, she still wanted to cover her ass, so she strapped up his arm over tight, leaving impressions on his skin so it would look like a natural OD. She then injected a small amount of fentanyl into the vein of his arm, and she sat there watching him fade off without ever knowing who his killer would be. After which, she tried dragging him out of the apartment, but knew it would take 2 people to do it, so she called up Justin for help. With no questions asked, he agreed. He then told her guess who he had riding shotgun. It was Tillo, and in her mind, Christmas came early. She'll get a 3 for the price of 1. Before Justin got there, she pat Danny's pockets for his phone, but couldn't find it. She ran out to his apartment, the door being slightly cracked. She entered this putrid smelling home, seeing his phone clearly on the coffee table. She picks it up, hoping there wasn't a lock on it, and her prayers was answered. Going straight to all his banking apps, the first stop, Cash App. Taking out her own phone, she searched her contact list and transfers everything to her boss with the message saying, all for you, baby. Because she now had his contact, his Cash App sign shows up automatically. About to leave, she spots Danny's gun, the same one he had the day that they met, and quickly she stuffed it inside her sweatpants pocket. Thinking about who Tillo was in the street, she just might have to shoot him. She then ran back to her apartment where she sees Justin and Tillo at the door. Right on time, she thought. Tillo asks why was she such in a hurry. You killed somebody else? Throwing shade at her being fresh out of jail for a body that she didn't catch. Not knowing she planned for him to be her next victim. She noticed both were strapped, with the clips from their guns hanging out the top of their jeans, so she had to be careful to not let them see that she was also slinging some iron. Cindy directs them both, as she did with Danny, to the bedroom, and immediately they team left Danny toward the front door. Cindy only said that he was passed out from being high, so neither of these guys thought anything off about moving an unconscious man out of her home. After dropping Danny off into his bed, they noticed a duffel bag on the floor by the nightstand. Both looking at each other, thinking the same thing. They checked it out. It was way more than what they expected. Filled to the brim with bricks of money. They take the bag, making their way towards Cindy's door. But before they walk in, Tillo stops Justin, saying, let's just go. While we cutting the in, she ain't find it. We did. But an angry Justin checks him on his language when he's speaking on Cindy.
Plus, mother, she the reason we found it. She like a sister to me, boy. What's wrong with you? I thought y'all was cool.
Tillo goes on to say she's cool, she just hot right now, and he really don't trust her at all. Tillo obviously lying about his reasons because he knew what he did that night of her arrest. When Justin picked him up earlier, Tillo didn't know where he was taking him, so when he finds out it's Cindy, he was nervous, anxious to get the fuck out of there by any means necessary. Hearing the ass end of that conversation, Cindy swings open the door. Trust me with what? She then saw that unzipped duffel bag full of money, and with wide eyes, she kicking herself inside her mind. Why didn't I check the rest of that fucking house? But what's done is done. Justin passed Cindy the bag and asked her to count it while him and Tillo had a talk outside the door. But she disputed that idea, saying she didn't want any of her neighbors picking you motherfuckers in the lineup, and said to just talk inside the bathroom. Everyone entered the apartment, and with Tillo in the front, Justin pistol whipped Tillo over the head before they could actually reach the bathroom, rendering him unconscious. Cindy, what the f you do that for?
You know why I did it. I'm not stupid. I know this mother sold you that bad batch. He got a big mouth telling anything with a pulse he sold you that bag, but I didn't believe it until you met up with me and asked for his address. But you don't need no more blood on your hands. I got this, and don't worry, they won't find out about Danny either.
She looks at Justin confused, as if she don't know what the hell he mean by that. And he told her he knows a dead body when he sees one. Totally mind-fucking Cindy to the 3rd degree, because now she felt bad that she had to kill him too. Hence the whole 3 for the price of 1 plan she initially had. After Justin injected the into Tillo's system, taking him out for good, they sat there counting the money together. Cindy still having second thoughts, she asked Justin what exactly happened with his baby mama. Justin only saying,
man, that. She the biggest liar I know.
Cindy then got up to use the bathroom, and with her back to the door, she held the pistol in her hand, saying she can't kill him if it ain't true. But he could also be lying. So she said, fuck it, no more games. Leaving the bathroom, drawing down on Justin, asking if he had indeed put his hands on her. With his hands up, asking what the is wrong with you?
And why you even care if I did? You ain't even know my BM.
She went on a whole rant about being bullied and beat by men half her life, but focusing on the night Ryan damn near killed her with his bare hands, saying Justin didn't know how it feels to be helpless and weak. Justin, now understanding everything, he softened his posture, saying he never touched his baby mama. And he has proof because that night it happened, he had a video of himself and Tillo out clubbing. The actual reason he was released so early. His baby mama had actually got her best friend to help her beat on herself to get him locked up for something he didn't do. While Cindy breaking down in tears, Justin grabs the gun and he hugged her tight, letting her know he would never let another man hurt her. And she believed him. The only man other than her late father who always kept it honest with her. She kissed Justin and he did the same in return. But keeping a focused mind, he said it's time to go. The only reason they wanted to count the bag first was to split it before they part ways. But now, they decided to leave together. They moved Tillo's body into Danny's apartment, wiping down everything of Prince, and did the same for her apartment. He asked Cindy, where did she get the gun? Which made her think to wipe that down also and put it back in its place, not wanting to get caught with a dead man's gun. Justin would ask on the way out the door, did she really kill Ryan? Saying he didn't care either way, he just wanted to know directly from her. She said no, Ryan killed himself, and Tillo helped him do it. They packed up and made their way to New York City, thinking it's easier to hide in plain sight with more people around. It's now a month later, and while planning to leave for the deep south of Texas till the heat died down, they sat on that $300,000 they got from Danny, living out of motels and having noodles for dinner most days. They searched the VA news app for days until they saw the story about what they had did. And it came out to be two homosexuals that accidentally overdosed on the same drug. A case thrown in with the rest of the ODs in the city, and he knew no one would suspect a thing. Cindy turns her head toward Justin, asking, how did you make that happen? What did you do to make the police think that they were homosexuals? He looks back at her.
You don't want to know.
They laugh it off and finds out more news about the case. Funny enough, Cindy's ex-perverted boss was arrested for a while after tech forensics saw the money transferred into his account. But due to the lack of evidence, he was only there for less than a month, but not before Cindy got Justin to make a call down to the jail. So let's just say, boss man left with a present of his own. That was one part of the plan Cindy did get right. From the beginning, she planned to set up her boss by transferring the money so when they find Danny's dead body, they would think it was him. See, she wanted to kill Tillo for that bad batch. She wanted to kill Danny for making her want to relapse. And she wanted to kill her boss for trying to leverage her job for sex in return. Anyone who got in her way of living life happily ever after had a death sentence, but they wouldn't even know it.
Call me, D.
Hustler talk, no comment though, just paper chase.